Women as hot as her are rare to find. With the other man gone, Duan Ya apologizes for not having the strength to keep her mind control powers active. That man's mental strength was very strong, and it didn't have any effect on him at all. Su Chen assures her that it's not her fault. If those guys didn't die after eating the water ghoul's corpse, then there's definitely something strange going on in this camp. They need to be careful going forward and avoid anything that will bring too much attention to them. One of the survivors approaches them as they're having their discussion. He tells them that they have angered the guards, and because of that, they should follow him if they want to be safe. It seems like this survivor knows Su Chen, and he introduces himself as Miao Pu Yuan, the roommate of one of Su Chen's former friends named Tian Yue. They met the last time he visited the school, before the apocalypse started. He takes them to another building within the university that hasn't yet been destroyed by the raging floodwaters. There, Duanya manages to use the limited supplies to treat the two brothers that were knocked out by Su Chen. Though their supplies of medicine weren't abundant, it'll be sufficient for now. Thanks to it, the two brothers are not in immediate danger, and Duanya managed to stabilize their conditions. The little girl thanks her for her help and stays beside her brothers to take care of them. Su Chen asks Xiao Miao if all the students are living here now, and he confirms that all the surviving students, regardless of their gender, are taking refuge in the building. Since Tian Yue often helps everyone in this place, it is considered the field team's territory. The field team is a strong faction that can even take on the Devourer clan that threatened Su Chen earlier. As they're talking, another man comes into the room and asks Su Chen if he wants to join their group. It's Tian Yue, and he doesn't recognize Su Chen at first, but Pu Yuan introduces him, and the field team leader is delighted to see his old friend again. The two men hug, and Tian Yue nearly cries as he holds on to Su Chen. He almost thought that they would never see each other again. Since it's rare for two brothers like them to meet again after such a long time, he suggests that both of them go and have a drink. Since he just came back from a mission not too long ago, he can afford to stay with Su Chen for at least a few days. As they're talking, he notices the beautiful Duan Ya staring at them, still wearing her bunny suit. Tian Yue immediately recognizes her as the legendary beauty of their university. She was known back then as the cold goddess Duan Ya. She's still embarrassed about the whole thing and nervously tells them that those sorts of things were in the past, and they don't matter now. The faction leader asks Xiao Miao how exactly the legendary goddess made it to their settlement, and why in the world she's dressed as a bunny maid. Now that it's been pointed out, Xiao Miao also notices that the woman in front of him was Senior Duan Ya from the medical school. All their stares and comments cause Duan Ya to cling to Su Chen and ask for a change of clothes. It's way too embarrassing to be dressed like this in front of her juniors. Su Chen smiles and agrees to let her find a change of clothes, while the other two men seethe in jealousy that their friend is hugging the goddess Duan Ya. After that, Tian Yue offers her a private room to change into. It's a bit messy, but she can sit anywhere she wants and get changed in peace. Su Chen notices that it's a luxury room, and Tian Yue must have purchased it with a large number of contribution points. The faction leader also notices that the two of them didn't bring any bags with them, and he wonders where the clothes came from. But Su Chen changes the topic immediately and asks about his regular missions. They must be dangerous if it takes several days for him to go and return. In truth, though, there's nowhere in the world that isn't dangerous. Since both Su Chen and Duanya still look clean, he thinks that they haven't experienced the apocalypse yet. So he offers them the opportunity to join the field team so he can take care of them. Someone as excellent as Duanya wouldn't even need to go out for food. She can just put her medical skills to use and take care of the wounded. However, before any of that, he has to warn them about something first. Su Chen has to stop showing off everywhere. And most of all, he has to stop making beautiful girls wear bunny outfits. What exactly was he thinking with that stunt? Su Chen tries to defend himself and says that he will protect her, and his brother hits him on the head in response. He reminds the now powerful man of a time when he didn't have as much power as he did now. Back in high school, when he used to get bullied and never dared to fight back, it was Tian Yue that fought the bullies away. The guard captain Guo is not a nice guy, and when he sets his sights on a woman, they usually don't have good endings. Beautiful women like Duanya are no exception, and now that he has his eyes on her, he won't let her go easily. Meanwhile, in the private room, the chef tries to take off her clothes quickly, but a knife is pressed against her throat by a mystery attacker. She nervously asks this new face who she is and what she wants. The woman doesn't answer the question and tells Duanya that she is someone sent by her boss to help her arrange her accommodations. She's a woman after all, and she shouldn't be sleeping close to those men. Duanya may not know who she is, but we already know her as the freaky lady is. She's the woman that listened in on Su Chen's entire fight back in the school administrative building, and she saw firsthand the kind of power he has. Right now, though, she's just a messenger sent to capture the beautiful senior Duanya. The chef tries to tell her that there is already enough space in the settlement, and she doesn't need any help, but the other woman insists. The boss asked her specifically to come over, and no one refused the boss. Duan Ya, however, is about to become a pioneer. She uses her mind control powers and tells on the woman, causing her to pause, unable to move her own body. Then she tells her to let go, and the woman complies, stepping away and dropping her hand. Using her mental power to forcibly control people is always difficult, but she can manage to do it for a short time. For now, though, she has done her part, and Suchen can handle the rest. As she walks towards the door to alert the others, the woman forces her body to move and manages to stab her own hand. The shock of the pain forces her senses to return to her, and uses the brief moment of clarity to attack Duan Ya. The two slam against the wall, and the commotion alerts the others outside. They bang on the door and ask Duan Ya what's happening. There's no way someone would make so much noise while just changing clothes. The attacker tries to silence her by covering her mouth, but it's no use. Since they don't hear any answer from inside, they assume the worst and break into the room. The first person to walk in is shrouded in shadows, and the mysterious attacker doesn't recognize him at first. So she rushes at him with blinding speed, ready to attack and kill. Tianyue tries to get in front of him and protect his friend, but that's not necessary since the attacker recognizes who she's up against immediately. She saw what he did in the University of Science and Technology, and she knows his name well at this point. The one called Su Chen took on several zombies by himself and won with little to no effort. Although she has killed many people, her instincts tell her that if she makes a bad move against him, she's not going to survive what comes next. With little opportunity to stop herself or change direction, she instead kneels while still running towards him, causing her to come to a grinding halt right at his feet. Then she nervously asks him to punish her and calls him her master. Suchen has no idea what she wants and what her intentions are, and she asks him if her sincerity is not enough to please him. To show that she's truly giving herself to him, she strips down her clothes and asks him again if that is good enough for him. Tianyue asks our protagonist if his taste in women has shifted so heavily, while Xiao Miao nervously looks away. But taking off her clothes was just a distraction to get their attention away from her. With everyone properly flustered, she launches a smoke bomb, covering the entire area in a thick fog before rushing off in an attempt to escape. Before she can get very far, Su Chen grabs her by the neck and raises her off the ground, stopping any escape plans that she might have had. He asks her if she really thought that she would be able to escape so easily, and it's obvious that he's going to get rid of her. The assassin begs for her life and tells him that he can't kill her. She tells him that the girl he saved, as well as her two brothers, have been taken to the settlement's arena. If he kills her, then there will be consequences, especially for those three. Su Chen couldn't care less and tosses her into the floodwaters outside the building. The others, though, are more concerned about what she said. The girl she mentioned is Xiao Mei, and the guards must have taken her as well as her two brothers while they weren't paying attention. Xiao Miao asks what they should do now. If they don't save them, they'll be bitten to death by the big mutant rats. The topic of rats catches Su Chen's attention, since that was the main reason he came to the settlement in the first place. He decides to go and check it out for himself, and Tianyue asks him to stay calm and avoid conflicts. Meanwhile, in the arena, Xiao Mei nervously stands in the middle of the field, prepared to fight for her brothers. Captain Guo sits on a stage in front of her, clearly controlling the whole thing. He tells her that since her two brothers failed to complete their tasks, then they have been given the death sentence. However, since she is willing to enter the arena and fight, he has decided to give them one more chance at life. The two brothers hang by their necks behind the man, inches away from their deaths. They shakily try to tell Xiao Mei to not believe him and run for her life, but Captain Guo tells them that it's already too late for that now. Xiao Mei, on the other hand, refuses to leave. If there is even a small chance that her brothers will be free, then she will fight with everything she has to get them out of there. She asks the large captain one more time if he will really let them go, and he tells her that he will keep his word only if she manages to survive. Behind her, a cage opens up and a large rat marches towards her. She only has a second to turn towards it before it bites down on her arm, causing her to scream in pain. Then it lifts her off the ground and tosses her around, preparing to eat her. As she fights for her life, memories of her and her brothers swarm through her mind. She remembers a time when they were starving, and one of them managed to find a pile of mushrooms for them to eat. She told them that mushrooms were dangerous, and her other brother decided to test the mushroom by eating it himself. After all, he doesn't want a young girl like Xiao Mei to eat something so uncertain. After eating two of them, he immediately passes out from the poison, and they barely manage to save him. That incident was what made the two brothers journey into the city to complete the task of tracking down Su Chen. If they succeed and come back, then they will earn contribution points, and they will no longer have to starve and eat uncertain foods. Those two men that risked their lives for their sister now shouted for her to run and not worry about them. She needs to survive and live well without them, and they can't bear to watch her being eaten alive by a rat. Captain Guo tells his guards to shut them up, and they kick the logs holding the men up, causing them to fall and choke on the ropes. Xiaomei screams for her brothers and tries to fight back against the rat. She takes the large stick she's been holding and stabs it straight into the rat's eye, causing the creature to scream in pain and finally release her. Then she makes a mad dash to save her brothers and tells them to hang in there. That's a poor choice of words, but her heart is in it. The rat monster recovers and manages to rush after the girl before pinning her down under its paw. Captain Gu laughs at the whole spectacle of her trying to save her brothers as Xiaomei cries for her brothers. There's no way for her to escape, and all seems lost already while the rat looms menacingly above her. In one last effort, she screams for someone to come and save them, and Su Chen immediately arrives, killing the rat with one quick slap to the face. The others are right behind in, and Tian Yue screams at Su Chen for being too impulsive. To Su Chen, though, that was too easy of a kill, and these creatures were nothing but overgrown rats. Captain Guo stares at him in shock, but manages to quickly recover. He didn't expect someone to come into his arena willingly, but since it's death that our protagonist wants, then he will happily give it. As he talks, large gates open up around them, and the rats inside scurry over each other to escape. Su Chen stares them down and prepares to take on an army of giant rats with one hand in his pocket. While Su Chen faces off against the rats, Xiao Miao and Tian Yue manage to free the two brothers from their death traps. They thank her for saving them, but the little girl reminds them that it's actually Su Chen that saved them. Meanwhile, in the higher floors overlooking the arena, a soaked assassin watches the match in contempt while standing behind a scientist. The man in the lab coat asks if Su Chen is the special research material that she mentioned before. She confirms that he is someone with superior genes that will definitely solve the instability of the doomsday genes. If they can do that, then they will be able to make the rats that were created using the latest technology bigger and more ferocious than before. Su Chen stares those same rats down, and it seems like both of them are ready to attack in an instant. The scientist has high hopes for our protagonist, but if he dies here, then he doesn't deserve to be their experimental subject. Su Chen wastes no time unintentionally proving himself by easily killing several giant rats in less than a second. His companions gasp in shock, and Tian Yue wonders if this is the Su Chen he really knows. Unfortunately, despite all of his showing off, there were no crystal nuclei in any of the giant rats. That meant that his only hope of getting one would be from the Rat King. Just then, as if on cue, someone makes an announcement from the speakers set up around the camp. It's the scientist that has been overlooking the fight this entire time, and he tells everyone present that Su Chen is the experimental material he needs for his work. He orders Captain Guo and Tian Yue to bring him up, whether dead or alive. It looks like the two bosses of the settlement answer to him, and Captain Guo is more than happy to bring Su Chen over for experimentation. Xiao Miao quietly warns Duanya to run away with him quickly because the situation has become dire. If she doesn't leave now, then she won't be able to leave again in the future. She tells him that she's not leaving as long as Su Chen is there. Captain Guo mockingly tells Tian Yue that he knows the field team leader and Su Chen are brothers. So now that he has received a direct order from their boss, what's he going to do? Will he stick with his brother, or will he side with the man that helped him survive the apocalypse? Su Chen ignores the fat madman and asks Tian Yue what's going on and why things seem to be growing into chaos. The faction leader tells him that the man upstairs is Liu Heiyun. At the beginning of the apocalypse, the scientist developed a drug that makes people stronger, and thanks to that, he was able to control the university. But nothing is free in the apocalypse. The drug needs a user to trade their life force in exchange for strength. Once they stop taking the drug, they become weaker than anyone else. Because of their dependency on the drug, they have to follow all the orders from the scientist no matter what. His only hope in this situation would be Su Chen, who offers an escape from the drug dependency, but only if Tian Yue follows him. The faction leader bows his head and tells his brother that unfortunately he doesn't have a choice in this matter. Captain Guo laughs wildly at the apparent betrayal between brothers. Seeing them turn against each other motivates him to take out our protagonist once and for all. He jumps at Su Chen, ready to strike the younger man down, but at the last second, Tian Yue leaps into action and kicks Captain Guo away before he can attack. The large man clearly didn't expect the attack and gets sent flying by the kick. He growls aggressively at Tian Yue, who takes off his shirt, ready for a life-or-death brawl between captains. Despite the odds against him, he decides to stand up for what's right and what he cares about. Tian Yue tells the large man that he's betraying the doctor because he only wants to use the drug to control them. There's no need to stand beside someone who's using his life as a bargaining chip. If he has nothing to lose, then it won't matter if he dies at the end of the day, but if anyone dares to touch his brother, then he will fight them to the death. Su Chen smiles at his brother as he stands in front of the group. In that moment, the faction leader looks exactly like our protagonist remembers from many years ago. Tian Yue rushes over to clash with the powerful captain, and the larger man promises to crush them all together since he's so eager to die. Tian Yue manages to land several powerful punches all over Captain Guo's body, but the larger boss reveals his trump card. Their boss knew that he'd betrayed them, so he gave the captain a higher level drug than he gave to Tian Yue. Thanks to that, the fat is his strongest defense, meaning that no one can hurt him. The captain raises his weapons over his head and brings them down on the unsuspecting Tian Yue. The faction leader just barely manages to catch both clubs before they crush him, but the shock causes him to cough up blood. Then Captain Guo flips a switch on the weapon that causes electricity to surge through them. Tian Yue barely manages to hold on, but just as it looks like he's about to collapse, Su Chen comes in to help out his brother. He rushes in with a large kick to both metal mallets and uses his feet to push them out of Captain Guo's hands, causing them to pierce into his body and fall back. The stabs from the mallets and the surge of electricity cause Captain Guo to immediately pass out dead. The feats Su Chen pulls off just get more and more interesting as time goes on. So far, the scientist has spent all his resources and manpower to find ways to evolve humans into perfect beings, and his research has led to significant breakthroughs in his experiments. However, our protagonist's recent display of strength shows that all those experiments were pointless. The perfect human has been out there this entire time. The scientist gives Su Chen one more opportunity to join him and become the first truly perfect human. Of course, Su Chen knows that there's more to his plan than just humans. When he talks about perfect humans, what he's really referring to is a rat. For the scientist, rat genes are the closest to human genes, and using the rodent's genes, he can create an army of rat men and then conquer the world. In that case, the apocalypse would become a heaven for him and his rat army. Su Chen thinks the plan sounds really stupid and blatantly refuses the offer on the spot. Liu Heiyun only thinks that this must mean that Su Chen hasn't understood just how great his evolution project can be. All he has to do to convince our protagonist is show him just how great of an idea it is. The attacker from earlier lines up a sniper shot from the window looking down on the arena and fires. Su Chen dodges something that looks like a tranquilizer dart, and it flies straight into Captain Guo's chest. The large man immediately starts to mutate into a terrifying new beast, and the electrified mallets also get absorbed into his body. The big guy used to be a sumo wrestler, and his fat made him resistant to most heavy attacks. Combining that with the level 3 drug that was just injected into him, his strength has been enhanced, and on top of that, any damage he gets is healed immediately. Su Chen still couldn't care less and sends a flaming middle finger up at the deranged doctor. Nothing about this is great as far as he's concerned. This entire setup is just a huge excuse to turn people into monsters. That insult is the last straw for Liu Heiyun, and he orders the newly mutated Captain Guo to kill Su Chen so that he can extract the genes he needs from the corpse. The monster roars and immediately charges towards Su Chen with a sumo spin. Our protagonist manages to catch the rolling man just in time. Then he plunges his arm into the large man's head and rips out the battery from the electric mallets before stuffing it into Captain Guo's mutated face. The battery immediately explodes, which should be enough damage to kill the large man. However, thanks to his newly improved healing factor, his wounds heal immediately, leaving him horribly disfigured but strong enough to still fight. Su Chen finds the whole thing annoying and rushes back in to end the man and stop the fight all at once. He lands a devastating punch straight to what should be its jaw, causing the man to fall into a crater. Then he increases his speed as he attacks, kicking up a thick layer of dust while also pummeling the mutated man. In the current world, very few people know about superpowers, so it would be best not to let others see how he uses them. Because of that, he uses the dust and dirt to his advantage, which allows him to do whatever he wants while camouflaged. His main issue is the fact that Captain Guo keeps recovering no matter how much damage he takes. Despite how much he is clowned on the whole thing, at the end of the day, Professor Liu Heiyun's research is really impressive. Thankfully, Su Chen's space doesn't just contain supplies. It also contains something big enough to crush the man and make sure that he won't have anything to regenerate from. He opens up his space power and summons his secret weapon, which is several tons of concrete and steel. The large noise startles the onlookers outside, but the huge wall of dust stops them from seeing anything. Once it all clears, Su Chen sits in the center, on top of the piles of cement with the fatty buried underneath all the debris. Liu Heiyun starts to panic after seeing all of that. At this point, he doesn't care who Su Chen is or how special his genes are. All he cares about is the fact that our protagonist dared to provoke him, and now he will do everything to make sure our overpowered main character dies without a proper place for burial. All around him, the cages start to rise as thousands of rats prepare to swarm around them and attack. Su Chen isn't worried at all, and he's in fact excited because he planned to make sure none of them survive either. The others turn and realize that they've been completely surrounded. The rat people who start coming out of the cages are all the people who were once sent to the lab. It looks like Liu Heiyun turned them all into rat men, and now they obey his orders brainlessly. Su-chen can't deal with these small fry since his target is the deranged scientist watching over them. If he doesn't get up there and deal with Liu Heiyun, then the armies of mutant rats will never end. Because of that, he has to leave them temporarily so that he can take out the source. Duanya remembers he once told her that she needs to have value to stay by his side. If she doesn't prove that she can stand on her own here, then there is a chance that he will abandon her. With that, she understands her mission and assures him that she will keep them under control. Even with that, he tells her that if she needs him and can't handle it, then she should call out to him loudly. With Su-chen gone, she immediately takes charge of the situation and steps up to lead the group. There's a lot of rats around them, and she has never controlled so many at once, but bandages, floating in the green liquid of the tanks. Unlike the other experiments, it looks like she has not been mutated or tampered with at all. The woman is Yun Yun, the woman from the bar that Su-chen went to before the apocalypse started. It seems like somehow she managed to survive for this long, probably thanks to his advice, but he never expected to meet her again in a place like this. He doesn't have time to think about it though. And right now, he needs to focus on saving her. He winds up his fist and punches the glass, shattering it in one hit. Then he pulls Yun Yun out and carries her against his chest. She starts to wake up and immediately recognizes him. He tells her not to worry and promises to get her out of there, but she's more concerned about the fact that she's hungry. Their reunion is cut short by a raspy voice screaming for him to let her go. Then in an instant, an ice arrow shoots out at him, aimed straight at his head. He manages to catch it in time while still holding on to Yun Yun. Liu Heiyun steps out of the shadows and yells again for him to get his hands off of Yun Yun. According to him, that's the woman he chose, and Su-chen touching her makes him extremely angry. It looks like he somehow gained ice abilities, but they're no match for our protagonist. He snaps the cheap arrow in his hands, causing it to fall apart. Then he asks Liu Heiyun if he chooses women as if he's shopping for merchandise. He can't just decide to own someone out of nowhere and then decide to keep them without consent. The scientist tells him that they are in the apocalypse, and in this new world, ordinary people are just ants. But someone like him, who holds the power of evolution, will be able to rule the world. As far as he's concerned, to be his woman is her honor. That little speech just convinces Su-chen that he's as much of a lunatic as the rumors say. Yun Yun desperately clings to our protagonist and begs him not to leave. She's scared of the situation she's been put in, and Su-chen has already come to save her. That makes Liu Heiyun even angrier, and he grits his teeth while asking Su-chen one more time to let go of her. Then he rushes at them, screaming that Yun Yun is his woman and she belongs to him. Su-chen reacts quickly and kicks a shelf at the scientist to slow him down, but the man swats it away like it's cardboard. But in that brief second he spent defending himself, Yun Yun jumps up and kisses Su-chen on the lips as a reward for saving her. She tells him that she's still mad at him for leaving her hanging last time, and she's only taking what he owes her. But that used up the last bit of energy she had, and she collapses on his shoulder in an instant and passes out. That finally sets Liu Heiyun over the edge, and he hunches over in anger while gritting his teeth. This is the worst betrayal he has ever felt, and the anger causes him to lose control of his mind. He decides at that moment that if she doesn't want to be with him, then she can just go to hell together with Su-chen. Then he starts his evolution process, causing his clothes to shred into pieces as his eyes glow white, and veins pulse all throughout his body. Then his skin starts to grow dark, and his teeth sharpen and grow until they become fangs. Then his body starts to grow, while his skin shrinks around him, and his nails turn to sharp claws. By the time he's done with his mutation, he is turned into a vicious-looking, half-man, half-rat. Then he promises Su-chen that he will show the true power of a god, but Su-chen is not intimidated at all and calmly holds on to Yun Yun while inviting the scientist to come and attack him. He helps Yun Yun lay on the ground and tells her to rest against the wall. She once again complains that she's hungry, so he gives her some of his chocolate to eat. Yun Yun looks very weak and frail because she has been trapped inside the lab for some time, and Su-chen seems very worried about her. As the two of them share that private moment, his eyes light up as he suddenly notices a hostile presence. An ugly-looking monster appears by his side, angry that the two of them are ignoring it. The monster looks very menacing with its sharp teeth and long claws as it gets ready to rip them to shreds. It tells them that they will be meeting their maker since they are so bold to be distracted, but Su-chen maintains a cool composure and isn't fazed by the filthy monster's threats. The monster almost looks gravely ill, and its body looks skinny and disgusting. In an instant, he weaves his hand and destroys the monster's upper body. The mutated rat's parts fly across the room, with its blood and guts spilling everywhere. It is a befitting end for such a repulsive creature. As the blood splatters everywhere, Su-chen is disappointed and asks if that is all the monster has. The look on his face shows that he is expecting more of a challenge, but the monster clearly isn't ready for Su Chen's overwhelming strength. Meanwhile, Yun Yun finishes off the chocolate, and she asks him if the people downstairs are his friends as she looks through the window from the corner of her eye. Su Chen confirms that they are his friends. She grabs a chair and says that she is going to repay him for everything he has done. It is only fair, considering the fact that he also saved her life. Yun Yun throws the chair at the window and shatters it, then prepares to jump down to the bottom floor to save Su Chen's friends. She gives Su Chen one last good look and tells him that Liu Huyan isn't so easy to kill and that he needs to be careful. After that, she jumps out of the window, slowly increasing in size, and by the time she lands on the ground below, she is tall enough to tower over everyone around her. The crash scares Su Chen's friends, and it takes a moment for them to figure out what just happened. Duanya and the others turn in surprise to see the huge woman, who cries about the fact that she landed right on her butt. The bunny girl barely believes what she is seeing, while Tianyue just realizes that it's a giant woman who crashed the party. Somehow, despite her increase in size, she doesn't lose any of the bandages on her body. With the destroyed buildings and structures in front of them, they don't believe that they are looking at a giant woman. While they are still trying to comprehend what is going on, a lot of the rat army lays dead behind them. Yun Yun grits her teeth and is still trying to recover from the pain of the fall. She eventually gets up and starts walking through the plains of the battlefield. The other people are still asking how a giant woman suddenly appears out of nowhere. As Yun Yun moves around, Tianyue begs not to be crushed, especially since he can see between her legs from where he's standing, and he even says that he can see the color. She manages to crush one of the rats under her feet, causing it to scream out in pain and wriggle around under her leg. As the rat tries to escape from the giant woman's foot, Yun Yun finally starts to realize just what exactly her new companions have been fighting against. She raises her foot to get a closer look, while the other rats gaze at her from below. The rats all look scared of the ominous aura that Yun Yun gives off. Before she fully realizes that they are rats, they all start spilling out from the buildings and sprinting toward her. All of them are eager to avenge their fallen comrade, and they race through the now empty battlefield, grabbing anyone they can get their hands on as they make their spring. Some people try to run away, but only a few can escape, while the others are caught in the creatures' paths before they get turned into rat food. As Yun Yun realizes that she's fighting against giant rats, she starts to panic. She cries and asks for help because she can't stand the monsters. Everyone else starts to run away from her because she begins stomping the ground, which means that she might accidentally kill both rats and humans in her panic. The shockwaves from her stomps make them all run for their lives. She keeps yelling at the creatures to get away from her, while the other humans try to calm her down before she stomps them to death. Most of them give up on calming her down and try to get away. Su Chen watches the chaos as he marvels at Yun Yun's insanely powerful ability. Unknown to him, as he stares out the window, the rats in the room begin morphing and coming back to life. He quickly turns his head and sees the creatures rushing toward him, but he knows that he can take them out. Su Chen doesn't resist as the rats swarm and climb all over his body. He acknowledges that Liu Huyan really isn't that easy to kill. Then he allows himself to get engulfed by the swarm while maintaining a calm demeanor. The rats merge together around him, forming a new body that looks like it belongs to the Rat King. A few seconds later, he is completely swallowed up by them, but not once does he try to save himself. From the depths of the horde, Liu Huyan's hand reaches out like an ominous being that has been brought back from the dead. The large rat emerges with his full body, now turned fully into the Rat King that Su Chen has been trying to find. He laughs and says that his body is practically immortal, mocking Su Chen's futile efforts at trying to defeat him. Now that the main thorn in his side has been taken care of, it's time for him to start taking over the world. The rest of the fighters below are shocked when the rats suddenly stop attacking. They all just stand like mindless figures, as if their minds have all been connected to a hive, and they are awaiting their next orders. Duanya and her companions wonder why the rats have suddenly stopped. With the rats all in sync, they gaze up to the top of the building, where their leader stands like a cartoon villain trying to take over the world. There at the top, Liu Huyan revels in his glory. He stands and smiles with his gross-looking body, feeling like he has won and there is no hope for his enemies. His eyes glimmer, and he has an overly confident look on his face. The other fighters recognize him as the king of the rats. They start to panic as they look at the sinister creature. All the rats kneel in unison, pledging their allegiance to their leader and honoring the one who makes their existence possible. The bunny girl and her companions are surprised that the rats are even intelligent enough to perform such actions. Meanwhile, Yun Yun continues to prance around as she swats the rats away and tells them to get out of her way. She is angry enough at the unpleasant creatures and doesn't need their unappealing king, making matters worse for her. She walks up to Liu Huyan, confronts him, and asks where our main character is. She is ready to confront the Rat King on the spot if he doesn't tell her where Su Chen is. Besides, she still isn't done having her way with his chocolate. Liu Huyan isn't fazed by the confident woman who stands before him, and he tells Yun Yun that her precious man is gone. He feels disrespected that she speaks to him in such a dismissive tone, and he isn't going to take it. He tells her that she is asking for trouble, and the unsettling smile on his face shows that he is ready to deal with her. Yun Yun, not noticing early enough when the rats climb her body and start clawing at her skin, is frustrated and scolds them for distracting her from her goal of dealing with their king. It isn't just her who suffers at the hands of these relentless creatures. The bunny girl and the other unfortunate companions find it hard to keep up with the rats because they have suddenly gone berserk and are attacking them fiercely. While they try to stand their ground and hold their position, Yun Yun has been pushed down by the rats, who look ready to tear her apart. She tries to protect her face with her hands, leaving the rest of her body vulnerable. Li Huyan laughs at them and boasts about how he will use his rat army for his global plan, but he suddenly gets interrupted by Su Chen's voice.